we've been reflecting back on 2019. It has 100% been a learning year for us.
So the list we came up with, we decided to categorize them. So we did self, family, financial, and home, and we're going to share all of these tips with you and what we're doing to change our life, because let us know in the comments below what your 2020 goals are and what you're doing to make this year better than the last.
I am who I'm meant to be.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel and Happy New Year. I
Happy New
cannot
Year, guys.
believe that it is 2020. And also, thank you guys so much for getting us to 50K on this channel. It still doesn't feel real. It was definitely
the best Christmas gift.
Definitely the best Christmas gift. I was just like taken back, even though you know it's coming. I was just like, wow, I'm so grateful for every one of you guys.
Yes.
The last couple of weeks, so many big changes in our life. We kind of had to figure it out as we were going, but now we've sat down, we made lists, and we figured out how we can change our life for the better, just by kind of going through, see what's working, see what's not working, and come up with a plan, which we're gonna share with you guys today.
We kind of wrote down like the things that were stressing us out and how we could really change those to make our house run more smoothly and to kind of like declutter our minds. So the list we came up with, we decided to categorize them. So we did self, family, financial, and home, and we're going to share all of these tips with you and what we're doing to change our life, because I'm sure a lot of you can relate to struggling, especially with 3 little ones, and kind of just help you guys because we know this is going to help us.
Before we get started though, we want to thank LifeSum for sponsoring this video. LifeSum is an amazing app that we've both been using for a while now. There is a free and a premium version, which we've been using the premium version, which just unlocks a lot of really awesome features. Some of the things that I use it for the most are tracking my diet, number one, my water intake, which is huge because I often neglect drinking water, especially when we're running around doing a million things, and also my exercise. I love being able to put in my exercise, seeing how many calories I burned, and then if I can get a little extra intake on that.
That's the best part. One of the things that I love about the premium version is definitely like the recipes and planning portion. You can plan out your meals for the week. There's tons of new recipes, which is something that most people struggle with. We get sick of eating the same thing, and that, like, a lot of times I feel like when you think like, oh, I'm gonna eat healthy, you think of a diet. You don't have to be on a diet, you just have to find something that works for yourself, your family, and your body. So that helps with that, because it's gonna tell you exactly how many calories and everything, all of your macronutrients. It's just really, really helpful. And one of the things that's also really cool about it is, you know, we all kind of eat like the same few things all the time, and it'll save that, so it's easier for you to track. Like, you can go into your recents and just add it to what you've had for the day. And like you said, I love being able to put in my workout to get some more calories back that we could eat.
Yeah, and you can put your whole day in at once and kind of see what you might have left over.
Yeah, a lot of people do that where they plan the night ahead, like plan their meals the night ahead.
It's a really great tool, and it also just cuts down on the, oh, well, what are we going to eat? Because you already have it planned and you're good to go. Once it's inputted, you don't stray from it. You just eat what's on your list and you know you're good. Check out the link in the description box for the free download, or if you want the premium version, there's a link for that for 30% off, which is really amazing.
So since we're talking about exercise and diet and things like that, we'll stick to the category self. So let's just say what we have under this category, which is exercise, diet, sleep, supplements, thyroid health, and kind of like mental health, nights out and planning things to make sure that they happen.
Alright, so starting with exercise, many of you guys know I have a background in exercise science. I worked in the field for 10 years as a fitness manager and personal trainer, so we kind of have that figured out. With 3 little kids, it is definitely hard to get ourselves there to do it, but that is something that, what did you set as your goal for this year?
To go twice a week, because I think that although that may seem like a low goal, that's more than what we're doing now. And I feel like if you shoot the bar too high sometimes, you just get disappointed in yourself and quit and give up. I know I have. So set an attainable goal and make it happen. I know that I always feel so much better physically and mentally when I exercise. I just have to remind myself of that and get there.
Yeah.
I do feel like one of the biggest things about getting there, besides our children, is sleep. A lot of times we don't sleep well. We just have no motivation to go, but we're gonna be each other's, like,
we're gonna push for it. And like you said, though, setting realistic expectations for yourself. When you attain those, you feel so much better. When you exceed those, you feel even better than that. So, you know, exercise, everybody knows it's so important for you, but we're in our 30s now, so it's really important.
So one thing that I read last week was about how important exercise in your 30s truly is, not just like for your physical health, but it also decreases your risk of disease and things like that, but it even decreases your risk of Alzheimer's. So that and reading, they said exercise and reading can decrease your risk, and I found that very interesting. And besides like it being physically and mentally fit, more than anything, we want to be here as long as possible for our family. So I think a lot of times in our heads we have it stuck that like we're gonna work out for that six-pack, we're gonna look hot, but it's more, I think it's easier for us to attain when we think about that we want to be here to spend time with our families, and that's what it's all about.
Right. Remember, realistic expectations. So
Yes.
six-pack might not be coming back anytime soon, honey. No. So we already touched a little bit on diet. We've kind of got a handle on that, but there are definitely some other things in addition to just diet, like supplements. And I mean, you can talk a little bit more about that because you have some goals for your thyroid.
So I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is an autoimmune thyroid disease. Mine is mainly hypothyroid, which means my thyroid is not working the way that it should. It's being slower, and my body basically attacks my own thyroid. So I've been on Synthroid for a long time, I think like 7 years or so, and I never knew that there was a possibility of coming off of that medication. So I've been trying some new supplements and stuff, and that is one of my goals this year, is to even lower my dosage through diet and supplements. And I'll actually just show you a little clip of what I'm taking right here. All right, so this is what I'm currently using right now, in addition to the Ningxia, Multigreens, Thiamin, Super B, Inner Defense. This is just an oil that I use today. And then progestins I've been using every day for about 3 weeks now, and it's made me feel so much better. Another thing besides like eating, exercise, and supplements and things like that is sleep. Sleep is so important for everything, as we know, especially because our kids don't do a whole bunch of that. So Chris and I decided what would work for us is to have early wake up days where we set an alarm at like 5:30, come down and have our coffee alone, and then also, I like your idea that you came up with today. Having
some days to sleep in, obviously. You know, I think what we end up doing is once we get the kids down, we think like, well, we want to maximize that time, spend time together, get some things done. Before we know it, it's 1:30 in the morning, and we hate ourselves in the morning when the kids are up at, you know, 6 o'clock. So if we know that that next morning is going to be a 5:30 wake up time, we better get ourselves to sleep by whatever, 11 o'clock latest. If we might have a little bit of a later wake up time, which we would rotate obviously, because the kids are going to wake up at 6 o'clock regardless.
Yeah.
Where I know I can sleep in till 8 o'clock the next day, maybe I'll push it a little bit and watch one more episode of whatever, How to Get Away with Murder, or something like that.
So that all goes into planning. Planning like days to sleep in and days to wake up. It's all about like having time to yourself too, because it is really important to just have a moment to yourself. We also decided, like, we kind of let date nights just fall off. We used to have a date night for a while. We were doing once a week, and then something happened with our babysitter, and then we just kind of
we just got out of the rhythm of it because our work was so unpredictable, and our home life with construction and things were so unpredictable that we just kind of like let them go away for a little while. Well, they're coming back in full force. If she doesn't know it already, we're gonna be reaching out to our babysitter and setting up the next year worth of date nights. But not only date nights, we need to also set up, you know, nights out as individuals. So whether it's you going out with your sister, or you going out with friends, and me going out with friends, time kind of away from not only the family, but the family conversation and talk. Because when we do go out, it's 95% centered around what's going on with the kids, what's going on with home, what's going on with work. And when you get out with friends, you end up talking about clothes, sports, whatever it might be.
And how much you miss your wife.
And how much you miss your wife, of course. And kids. I mean, it ends up coming back to kids one way or another. You're talking about...
I think what we're trying to say is that you're more than a parent, you're more than a husband. So have date nights so we can be we can remember why we have all this. It's because we have each other, and we were initially together just because we love each other. So it's important to go out and remember that. And then as far as like going out with your friends, it's important to remember that you're an individual. So it's just like all around, like I feel like we are so strict with like, all right, well, we need to get this done, that done, this done with our house, and like we just haven't made it a priority. But it very much is a priority, not just for your relationships with each other and with your friends and family, but also just it feels good.
Right.
And you need to do more of what feels good in 2020, guys.
Absolutely. Put yourself,
minus the chocolate cake.
Put yourself first, and then everything else just right there behind it. Okay, moving on to the next category, which is family. And it's by far our most important thing. It's family first all the time. And if you're watching this channel, I think you probably agree with that. Our kids are our life 100%, but we work for them. You know, we do things around the house for them, but it's very important to schedule those things, block those times off, and be in the moment when you are with them. So one of our rules, which we bought, a little cell phone locker.
Cell phone jail.
Cell phone jail.
Has a key.
It's kind of corny, and it might even just be for show. I mean, it might just be where we don't even lock it. We just put it in there as a reminder, like don't go in there. But it's just a little something to say, I'm putting my phone away. My time is yours, 100%. I'm not gonna fold laundry. I'm not gonna do dishes or anything like that. I'm just yours. You want to play, you know, Power Rangers, we'll play Power Rangers. Whatever it is that you want to do, my time is for you, until that phone rings and alarms us, and then we're back to life. No,
less phone time, more block scheduling. That you can actually look in your cell phone to see how many times you pick up your phone or how many hours you're on different things like social media and stuff like that. And 100%, the thing I feel guilty about the most at night is how much was I on my phone today? Because it's really hard for me to be on my phone and in the moment. So that is huge for us, the cell phone jail. And I also think putting your phone away as a rule to yourself at a certain time of night, just so that you can sleep well.
Right.
The light's not good for you. Thinking about what other people are doing in their life is not good for you. Just cut it off and take the end of the night for yourself. Less screen time.
Right. And I mean, that doesn't mean that you should feel guilty. We both work from home, so we do have to do work. We have to block those times off to do work and not feel guilty at all. If you work from home, you work out of the house, or you're at home as a mom or dad, and that is your job as a homemaker, you do still need to do things around the house and not feel guilty about doing it. But if you block those times and then spend time with your child while, you know, or your spouse.
The other day I was editing and Taylor was like, I want mommy, and you're like, mommy's working right now. So like just to have that time, it's like from this time to this time I am working. He started working from home this past year, and we kind of had to figure it out. And what we're figuring out now is that it can't be all intertwined, because we're always like, oh, we want family time, but it's not genuine family time when you're on your phone or like you're editing. Or so that is something we're really working on, is block schedules. Right.
And we're still figuring that out as well, but you better believe when it's all figured out, it's going to be on Beating the Beastons.
I'm already working on it, guys.
She will have a full video just on block scheduling for you guys. With that, obviously a cell phone free time should always be dinner.
Yes.
Meals in general, I mean, you shouldn't be sitting down at the table with your kids on your cell phone, but we are 100% going to put our phone in the jail for dinners, have dinners together as much as possible. I mean, every night is the goal.
Dinner together, just, it feels so good, and there's studies that show it's proven to help your children also, but it helps me too. My heart feels so full at dinner, even when my kids are not eating their food and I'm begging them to just lick the chicken nugget. I still feel grateful that we're all together. It just gives me a moment to kind of like breathe in those blessings. Right,
and you make long-term memories with those sit-down dinners, and especially as the kids get older, you 100% will cherish those times. Like you said, if they're eating or not, we also realized that our kids were not eating big meals, and it was because they're snacking a ton between meals.
They're big snackers.
It's hard as a parent to say, no, you can't eat that when your kid wants to eat something.
You're like, please eat anything, I beg you.
But if you can limit those snacks in between, not only is there a ton of waste in snacks because they have like 2 or 3 bites of something and then they tossed it.
Yes.
If they know that that is their snack for the day, like when they're at school or preschool or any of that kind of stuff, they actually cherish that snack a little bit more when they're not just giving it all the time.
They don't get one snack a day.
I'm saying if you limit their snacks rather than just say, yeah, go in anytime, take what you want, and then you know, they end up wasting it because it's just what kids do.
So one of the things we did was pre-package some of their snacks so that it's like a decent amount, and usually they wind up eating all of it. And if there's any left over, it's a very small amount, because we think of like how we want a snack and just fill up that little munchkin snack cup, which is actually like a lot of food in there.
Right.
So less is more with snacking, and that is less waste, and they eat more. We also stopped the apple juice.
Yep.
Which was not easy,
no.
But we they're kind of old enough to realize that too much sugar and we need to be healthy. We were doing like 50% apple juice, 50% water, because they wouldn't drink just water. But now we're like, sorry, we don't have apple juice. We did get grape juice, and they get
like a little bit of it in the early morning.
Like 10%.
Yeah, not even 10%. It's like 90%, you know, 95% water, and a little drop of the grape juice, and it, at least in their mind, is like they're having juice.
But they only get it once in the morning, and then the rest of the day it's all water once they finish that. So that is how we got to that. We did have to deal with whining for a couple of days, but
that's
they
it.
get apple juice. If we're out to dinner, it's a treat. It's not an everyday thing. Not judging anybody who gives their kid juice. It's not that. It's just that our kids were not eating what they should be eating because of the juice. So besides like basically meal prepping snacks, we're also meal prepping in general. You know, I'm a big meal prepper. Now we finally have our house back. I love it. I'm so happy to be doing it. But now we're doing it a little bit differently. We're doing large family meal prep, which you'll see on my channel, and also doing ingredient meal prep, so that when it's time to make dinner, everything's pre-chopped, we're ready to go. We got our meal plan. You can look at the whiteboard to see what's going on. But during nap time with the kids, we'll kind of like look at the board and be like, okay, what do we need to do for dinner? And if everything is not ready, we'll make sure it's ready. And if the night ahead you know what you're doing, that's why meal prepping is so important, you make sure you take out like frozen you need, or things like that. So meal prep, ingredient prep, snack prep, all of that brings us into our next category, which is finances.
Alright, so we don't go crazy spending money on a lot of different things. I mean, we just did a lot to our house, and that is like our biggest treat. Other than that, we go to dinner. We go out to meals because it's just really is a treat for us. However, during that renovation, we ate out way too much, which it was our only option. And honestly, it's not all it's cracked up to be. We want to get back to where it is just a treat for us. So what we're doing is, I think this is kind of like the Dave Ramsey method. We're taking out cash per week of what we can use to eat out, whether it's one big meal out, one big dinner out, or we plan ahead and say, okay, we're gonna have these 2 or 3 lunches out because we know we're gonna be doing this or that. In addition to that, we can't say, okay, well, here's the easy option. We're just gonna go buy this lunch, buy that dinner. You know, it is a treat for the kids, but it's not a treat if you're doing it 5 times a week. Right.
Also, my favorite thing to do ever is the second I get into my vehicle, or any vehicle, my brain is like, okay, where's the closest iced coffee? It's like something in my brain that needs iced coffee once you get in the car. So we are limiting that to twice a week for both of us. So 4 coffees a week out, which is actually pretty expensive if you like Starbucks. That's like $20 a week. You know, just
which again,
coffee.
We can prepay the app, right, and say this is our weekly allowance. If we don't use it, maybe it'll roll over, but that's it. That's what we get for the week for Starbucks, or for Dunkin', or for whatever you want to do.
I think financially having rules is what's going to save you money in the long run, because if you don't have rules for yourself, it's hard to keep track of.
Right. And you know, even consequences, right? Like, so if you find yourself out maybe with a girlfriend or whatever, and you say, well, we're gonna get coffee. Well, that's fine, but that's coming out of next week's coffee, right? Like, you don't just get to add that coffee.
You better use your own coffee allowance. You're not using my coffee allowance.
I will gift you a coffee here and there. But hey, learn to make a good coffee at home, and you don't have to have this problem. It might be a little initial investment, but you can also buy like a really nice cappuccino. It's a good Christmas gift that you could have gotten
Yeah, why don't you buy me a cappuccino maker?
I know,
What?
I should have. That was stupid. But just limiting the number of times that you guys eat out, limiting the number of quick coffees and things like that will save you a bunch of money and let you put it towards things that really matter.
Yeah, like look at your finances. What are you spending your most amount of money on? For us, it's like coffee, eating out, groceries, obviously. But I think something that we've also started to do is buy in bulk items like rice and things like that, and then just I have little glass jars that I'm putting things in, and then leave the other items in the pantry instead of just like buying small. I think buying in bulk actually saves you a lot of money. Even lately with our fruit, like if we buy like one little package of strawberries, that's breakfast for the kids. Like that package is gone at breakfast with 3 kids. So like we kind of have to start buying in bulk. As a lot of you know who watch my channel, it's been hard for me to figure out how much to buy so that stuff isn't going bad or running out. But now I feel like with 3 toddlers, like Ella is officially like a toddler, they're eating a lot more. So definitely I think buying in bulk. We belong to both BJ's and Costco. So that's going to save us money as well. And then creating a realistic grocery budget.
Budget and stick to it is the key. Alright, so if you have a financial goal set in place, it makes it a lot easier to stick to your budgets and that kind of thing. Ours is 100% paying off this house.
We really want to pay off our house. We really want to be minimalist. So, you know, I get an email today. I love this sweater that I'm wearing, by the way. He got me for Christmas from Victoria's Secret. I get an email today. They're having a sale. I'm like, oh, I need 10 other colors of these. No. When you want to buy something, think about where that something is going, how much is that something you already have, and do you realistically need it? So that is also going to help us save money because we want to be minimal. We don't want more stuff. More stuff stresses us out. So save that money for your goal, which for us, our goal is to pay off our house, to not only just save money for our children's futures and stuff like that, but the things we like to spend money on, which is experiences like vacations and like dinners and stuff like that. We're not a things kind of people. We like moments together, and you know, I just feel like we'd be really comfortable if we paid off our house and just, you know, had that extra money to go on family vacations.
Yes, lots of family vacations. And actually, not only vacations, but just doing things with your kids.
Yeah,
one of the things that we also have written down is activities for our kids. And as you guys all know, those activities are not cheap.
However, today's activity is cheap.
Yeah.
Carter wants to do something. No. Carter wants to do something with dough today, he told me.
Ooh,
so all I need is flour and water. Either if it's make pizzas or Play-Doh, something. He said, Mommy, tomorrow can we do something with dough? So I wrote that down in my block schedule under family time, something with dough.
Well, the ones I'm talking about are like dance class, like soccer, like baseball, whatever sports or activities that your kids want to be in or you think they should be in. They're not cheap. However, they're really, really good for them. So we signed our kids up for these different activities, dance, soccer, knowing that it's so good for them. They're around here all the time telling me, like, Daddy, I'm boring, which by that they mean that they're bored. And, you know, you do a lot for them, you play with them, but it's always the same thing, and they need structure. So signing them up for that dance class, signing them up for soccer, it's gonna teach them different things that they can't get from you, and it's also just really good for you to get a break from being the one to teach them everything.
And then last but not least, we have our home category, and we have 3 things under home. One of the things is like assigning chores to everybody, because I think our kids are old enough that they could pick up their toys in the living room before bath time, but it's also giving them structure and responsibility, and they are ready for that, and it takes a little bit off of our plate, because after we put them down for bed, we are beat, and I don't want to come down here and pick up all of their toys. So creating a chore chart is something that we're going to be implementing. We should work on that today. And it's more so like a responsibility chart, like things that they need to be responsible for. Like, for example, when we get home, you take your shoes off, go put them away where they're supposed to go. Go put them in your cubby, like things like that. Just being on them about their responsibilities. 100% let them be a kid, but also teach them how to be respectful and where to put their things and how to help you out. Something else we're really working on is going chemical free in our home and just using like more natural products, eating a little bit cleaner, you know, just all around we're working on everyone's health. And one of the things that we want to do for health is to get rid of the toxic chemicals.
You don't really realize how bad it all is until you do start to remove it. Little things like using different dishwasher soap and that kind of thing. Like, you open up the dishwasher when it's done and it actually just smells good and clean and not like chemicals.
When I was pregnant, every time I used to open the dishwasher, I would gag because of the chemical smell, and now I just open the dishwasher and
Makes sense.
Clean.
That can't be
you
right.
know? Or like when you're burning a candle and you're like, oh, my head is pounding. Well, maybe it's that candle. There's like small things like that, or like the kids' bath products, or their laundry detergent. Ella has horrible eczema, and I didn't really think about like all the scents I was putting on her body and all the fragrances in our home. So just little things like that.
Or like our kids eat off the table. Like, we give them plates, but they eat off the table. And like, I remember cleaning the table and then being like, no, don't eat off of that. Like, I just cleaned it. But like, if you're using a cleaner that is safe, obviously they shouldn't be like sitting there drinking it, but safe, then you don't have to worry about that kind of thing. And it just makes you feel like one less thing to worry about goes a long way for sure.
It does. And then our last thing under home is our vision board. You know, I'm a big believer in vision boards. I always have been since 100 years ago when I read The Secret. Totally changed my life. And I think, like I said, just setting goals for yourself in general for like each category in your life, but having a vision board to look at the things you want on the daily kind of like reminds you of what you're working towards and what your goals are in life.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of cool too. I'm just kind of like thinking out loud right now though, but if, you know, especially as the kids get a little bit older and they start contributing to it, if everyone kind of had like their own color, like a background of the vision board picture or a different color to write in, so you kind of know like what everybody is wanting and picturing.
I like that.
And that way, you know, you can look to see, okay, is everybody kind of being worked toward for their vision? I don't know, guys. I hope you guys got a lot out of this video. We got a lot out of it just making it.
Yeah.
We are so excited to implement all these different things and make 2020 our best year yet. If you haven't already gone and downloaded LifeSum, definitely do that because it is such a helpful app, and I promise you, you will love using it every day. But we're gonna wrap it up here. Don't forget, subscribe, like this video, and look forward to a lot more vlogs on this channel, as well as some of these types of videos.
Let us know in the comments below what your 2020 goals are and what you're doing to make this year better than the last.
All right, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Away from the shore, amongst the waves.